Hey, y'all. I'm late. I'm sorry. It's Friday, though. It is Friday. It has been an amazing week. Sorry, just making sure I'm all set up. And today we are talking celebration. It's so exciting. All right. People are starting to join. I just hate for the replay that I like sit here and don't say anything for like the first minute of the thing, waiting for people to join. Hi, Tiffany. All right. So today I'm talking celebration and the magic of celebration and the magical reasons behind why you should celebrate. Hi, Dora. Hi, Tiffany. All right, let's get that situated. There we go. So this one came to me. I had another thing planned, and I'm so glad. Like everything happens for a reason. I hadn't put up the announcement yet as to what the topic was. And then these amazing things happened, and I woke up this morning and was like, no, I have to talk about this. So we're running with the energy that is going on right now, and that is celebration. So last night, my daughter graduated from high school, and her school did like a drive in movie type of graduation. So we all stayed in our cars and they lined us all up at the field at the fairground, had a big stage and a big projector so that we could see everything on the projector. And that's cause for celebration as it is. You know, she's 18, she graduated high school, she's moving on to the next phase in her life. But we get there and her school is a progressive school. And so they don't really have a valedictorian and salutatorian. But they have two awards for the top two students that they call senior excellence awards. And they start describing the first winner of this senior excellence award. And we're all sitting in the car like, well, that kind of sounds like Skylar. And then they go to the next teacher that is talking about this student. And we're like, well, that really sounds like my daughter. So she won. And I mean, full on tears, crying, proud mama moment. So I have to share. And we've been celebrating since yesterday. Like the amazing that she had no idea that she was getting this award. It also came with a scholarship. So that was really exciting. So we're in this celebration mode right now, and that's all the energy that we're going through right now. And I wanted to stop for a second and catch up on comments. Hi, Amber, Connie. Hi, Andrea. So yeah, so we're all celebrating right now. Major celebration vibes. And that was really it's very important in our family to celebrate. And for me, there's magical reasons behind it. So that's why I wanted to do this live and really get with you all, kind of pass on my beliefs on why it's so important to celebrate. And that's just the energy right now. It's so awesome. So for celebration, and over in this thing today, this video, I'm going to go over why you should celebrate. And this is all from a metaphysical, spiritual standpoint, and how you should celebrate to get the most of the magical benefits of celebrating. Um, so, celebration, you want to celebrate wins, accomplishments, overcoming obstacles, etc. So, this is not to be confused with participation trophies. And that's what I'm going to refer to it as. um, I feel that wins can be big or small, but they have to be wins. They have to be wins emotionally, physically, mentally, or spiritually. Okay. You have to have accomplished something, overcome something. To me, those are causes for celebration. If you give everyone a participation trophy for just doing things that are expected of them or for just showing up, then it kind of leads to like no sense of accomplishment, in my opinion. And it leads to expectations of being rewarded for every action that they go to do. So I'm old school. I don't believe in participation trophies. I know, especially in like today's world of parenting, that is a very taboo thing to say. But I believe that there is a certain sense of accomplishment that comes with working hard and achieving something or being recognized for your efforts or being, the best at something. I feel like there's a certain sense and a lot more learning that goes on and self growth that goes on than just kind of handing everyone that shows up a participation trophy. So that's kind of like my first caveat. Just trying to catch up on comments too. So, celebration, we are talking a win, an accomplishment, overcoming an obstacle, something like that. And it can be, whenever I talk about stuff like this, I talk about mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual. So it can be any of those things. So there is definitely magical significance in celebrating, definitely. And why? Why do you want to celebrate? Why magically do you want to celebrate? So there are three reasons. Number one, it raises your vibe. Number two, it practices gratitude magic. And number three is the whole law of attraction. So that's the first thing. That's kind of like the first thing that I'm really going to go into are these three reasons. So the first one, celebrating raises your vibration level. So to kind of maybe backtrack or go a little bit simple, everyone resonates at a certain vibration or a certain frequency. Kind of your electromagnetic impulses, your body, the electrical currents that run through your body, runs at a certain frequency, vibrates at a certain frequency. The higher your frequency, the higher you vibrate, the lighter your body is physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of it. So, generally speaking, those of us that vibrate higher are happier. We're more focused. We kind of get more out of life. We put more into life. You're more at your personal power center. You're more optimistic. You experience love more deeply, or um, how to look for things and look for the good in things. These are all traits of vibrating at a higher frequency. Okay. So on the flip side, the lower your frequency, the more you're going to focus on the negatives in life, the more negative of an outlook you're going to have, the more pain you are in physically or emotionally. It's harder to see the positive in things. So these are going to be kind of the things that happen when your vibe lowers or when you're just a low vibe person. So you want to try to raise your vibe. Like I mean, not everyone wants to. We've all met that, negative Nancy that just is like Oscar the Grouch and wants to stay in their trash can. But for the most part, we kind of all want to feel better. We all want to raise our vibe. We all want to be lighter emotionally, spiritually, physically. So, raising your vibe is a really great way to do that. So, celebration definitely raises your vibe. And when you raise your vibe, you're going with feel good stuff. That's a really easy way, and it has to be positive feel good stuff. So, like super hard drugs are not going to raise your vibe. Like super hard addictive, they're not going to raise your drive. They might make you feel good for a little while, but they're actually going to lower your vibe. So we're talking positive things that make you feel good. That's what's going to raise your vibe. So any activity that causes you to resonate pure positive energy, sorry, got to flip, raises your vibrational level. So for easy, quick vibe raising, you've got like deep breathing techniques because that's going to center you, it's going to calm you, and it's going to cause you to realize you're stressed, realize emotionally you're not doing well, and it's going to bring you back to your center and help you overcome it. So that's going to raise your vibe. Smiling is actually a really easy way to raise your vibe. Creating things, especially if you are a very creative person, anytime you create, you're putting yourself into something, and that's going to raise your vibe. Meditation, expressing gratitude, a hug, all of this. So quick raises, hold on, there we go. All right. So quick raises are going to do that. They're going to raise you, but the lasting effects aren't going to go as long. So those are really great things to keep in mind. But most of us want kind of that lasting vibe raise, and that lasting, we want our vibe to raise and stay there. Okay. So celebration, because it takes effort, it takes planning, it takes time, energy, everything. It's going to raise your body's vibration more and for longer amounts of time. It can also, depending on what you're celebrating. So if you're celebrating, for example, a new job and it is one that is like your dream job, celebrating it to kick it off is going to raise your vibe, and then it's going to stay there because now you're living your dream. You're living what you want to do with your life. You're doing what you want to do with your life. You're fulfilling your life's purpose. So something like that is going to start with a celebration. Sorry, my husband's finishing up orders for the day. If y'all can hear that in the background, the tape. So celebration is going to raise you and it's going to keep you there. If it's something like a new job, the more time you put into your celebration, the more it will raise your vibe and the longer effects it will have on you, the more permanent effects it will have on you. And I'm going to go over with you all how to celebrate in a little while. So we'll get there, I promise. So that's all kind of the first reason why magically and energetically you want to celebrate big wins, small wins, all of them. It's going to help you raise your vibe. So the second reason, it's been a day, y'all, I swear. Go, go, go all day. All right. The second reason is that celebration practices gratitude magic. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. Hi to everyone who's joining now. I see all of your highs over there. I've mentioned in the past that gratitude magic changed my life. It saved my life. So I will be doing an entire Facebook Live on gratitude magic in the near future. But for today, we're just going to kind of pinpoint some gratitude magic as it applies to celebration and celebrating. So for those of you that don't even know what gratitude magic is, because I know we have a lot of beginners that do tune into these. Gratitude magic is the practice of expressing thankfulness for the blessings in your life, no matter how big or small. Gratitude magic can be as simple as lighting a candle and meditating for a moment on the things that you are thankful for in your life. I do recommend saying the things out loud because that's going to give them more power, more positive energy. Yeah, I recommend saying them out loud when you're practicing gratitude magic. You can, hold on, lighting a candle. Make sure I don't lose my place. Okay. So my husband and I take a walk, not every morning, but a few times a week. We take walks in the mornings. And no matter which way we go in our neighborhood, there are these beautiful, I think they're oleander. Don't hold me to that though. But there's all these beautiful blooming things in other people's yards that they hang over the fence and the flowers drop on the ground. And I'm very mindful to only pick up the ones that have dropped on the ground. But as we're kind of getting back to the house, I always pick one up and I put it into my hand, my dominant hand, so that I'm charging it. And I think or say out loud the things I'm grateful for that day so far, or the things that are going to be happening that day that I'm grateful for. And I charge that little flower. And when I get home, it goes on my altar. And so that is a very easy way for me to practice my gratitude magic daily or, regularly. And then it gives me I get like a second boost of it as I see the flowers on my altar. They're dried, but as I see them really start to pile up, it makes me even more happy because I know that each one of those flowers were blessings that I was grateful for. And so it's like a double dose and I love it. So that's another way that you can do it. So you can practice gratitude magic. I highly recommend practicing your gratitude magic at night, like while you're laying in bed, kind of the last thoughts that you have as you're drifting off, or, you consciously get into bed and you make it a part of your ritual is to count your blessings from that day. So you think about all the good things that happened that day, or all the things that you accomplished that day, or the things that put a smile on your face. And I've talked about in the past, that's what I did to really start to rewire my brain from when I had depression. When I was really badly depressed, I used the gratitude magic to help rewire, to see the positive, no matter how small. So even if it's a cheeseburger that you ate that day and it was a really good cheeseburger, that's what you're grateful for. And so doing it at night before you go to bed rewires your brain to kind of start that way the next morning. And so that way you're rewiring for the positive. So yeah, so celebration of the wins is essentially giving thanks to them, acknowledging the hard work that went into them, change again, and positively reinforcing the energy that went into the accomplishment. So this is gratitude magic at its finest. You are counting your blessings. You are acknowledging the work that went into it, which is going to positively reinforce that in the future for you, or the person who you're celebrating. I mean, this can be applied. That is why we are celebrating my daughter so much, because we were already proud of her, and everything that she did her senior year. But now the school has acknowledged it. And so we're even proud of the school. And I even sent them an email this morning and said, thank you so much for acknowledging her accomplishments this year, because like that's going to fuel her to continue to succeed. That's going to be one of the things that fuels her. So I even sent an email to my kids' school this morning to tell them thank you. So that's what celebration is. Celebration is gratitude magic at its finest. And magically, as you're practicing that gratitude, that's going to raise your vibe. That's going to open up pathways for this energy to flow in positive directions. But also on a psychological level, it's going to reinforce the positive that you're doing. So you will look forward to the next accomplishment and celebration, and you are fully honoring the cause for celebration, um, now, for that action or that behavior, that win. You're fully acknowledging it. You're giving it your full attention to say thank you. Thank you for the outcome. I'm so grateful that my hard work paid off. So that is Um, sorry, catching up over on comments too. That's kind of that's the gratitude magic, like the second reason you should definitely celebrate your wins or celebrate other people's wins, because of the magical as well as like the psychological positive effects that happen. And Dora asks, have you done a box or ink goddess cards for gratitude magic? We did a gratitude magic box in November. I'm not sure of the year. 2 years ago? 3 years ago? I'm not sure. It's a couple years ago. But we did it at Thanksgiving time. We gave everyone little gratitude jars. I don't remember what else was in the box. I remember the gratitude jars. So we have done it. But we're getting to the point now, we are starting to, especially for next year, as we plan things for 2021, doubling back on some topics for the boxes and stuff, and revamping them and redoing them. But yeah. All right. So the third reason of why magically you should celebrate is basically kind of like the law of attraction. So the law of attraction is summed up in so many different ways, depending on cultural beliefs, depending on religious beliefs, everything. So it could be phrased as you get back what you put out. It can be phrased as where your focus goes, your energy flows, your thoughts manifest your dreams, all basically the same idea that falls under the law of attraction. The law of attraction is the belief that your thoughts and intentions can open up pathways for energy to flow, so that what you focus on could determine the outcome. So basically, and we all want to try and use the law of attraction for good. It tends to be very easy for the law of attraction to swing in the negative. For example, if something happens and you have money problems and you are focusing on those money issues and worrying about those money issues, that's the energy you're putting out, is of money issues and worry about money. Eventually, like that's what ends up coming back to you, are more money issues and more worrying about money. And that's generally when we tend to see it, is when you tend to notice it more when it's negative stuff kind of going out and coming back to you. Um, because those are what sting the worst, and those emotionally are the things that can kind of cripple you. So when you send out positive and you get back positive, it tends to go unnoticed a little bit more because it's taken for granted. You're like, "Oh, I don't have to worry about money this month," and so that's kind of when, like, "Oh, okay, my job's good. This is paying well. This is paying. I don't have to worry about it." But it's when something happens and you do have to start worrying, about money, that then all of a sudden it grows, and then this thing breaks, and then you need money over here, and then your electric bill was triple. And so that's when you really start to notice the law of attraction, unfortunately. And so that's one of those things you really have to try and rewire yourself to consciously focus on the positive and send the positive out. But when it comes back, you have to acknowledge that as well. So that way you're acknowledging that positive, that you're focusing on the positive and the positive is coming back. Randy says the energy and vibes we put in the air, the energies that will come back. Yep, exactly. So if you are celebrating and you're concentrating on your accomplishments, then you're opening up those energetic pathways leading toward accomplishing more things to celebrate. So I talked about not last week because last week was a Q&A. So it was the week before that, the magic and power of words. That's why it's so positive. It's so important to phrase your spells, your rituals, your intentions positively, because that is how you're wording things and that's the energy you're sending out. So as long as you're sending out and you're wording in a positive way, then that's going to clear the path for that positive energy to come back to you. So yeah, instead of, I know it's super hard, especially when it does kind of seem like one thing after another happens. You kind of you get frustrated and then that negative energy goes out. So I have tried to train myself. I'm still working because I'm human, you know. It's one of I try to do cleansings. So when I start to notice like this happens and this happens and then this happens and you know and I'm like that sucks and that sucks too and that sucks even worse and why are all these things happening. I take a second, take a deep breath and I'm like that's it, I'm doing a cleansing. And so I'll do some cleansing magic which focuses my attention back on the positive. So I'm going to get rid of this negative, I'm going to get rid of this funk, I'm going to get rid of this worry and turn it into something positive. So yeah, that's it. There we go. Check my notes. So the three whys of why you want to celebrate: law of attraction, gratitude magic, and raising your vibration. So that's the why. Why magically you want to celebrate. So now it's a question I always get asked: how? How do I celebrate? And by that I mean like I get asked like does that mean I have to do this big huge ritual every time something good happens? It doesn't. It really doesn't. Okay. So, however you want to celebrate, whatever is going to make you feel good about what you accomplished, that's how you need to celebrate. It really is as simple as that. With just a few things to keep in mind, just a few. So, the celebration amount or type should reflect the accomplishment. So, you remember earlier in the very beginning, I talked about participation trophies. So this is kind of the same idea as the participation trophies. If the celebration, so if you get a win, but it's a tiny one, but you are like, yes, I did that. I did that. And then you celebrate for a week straight. The celebration outweighed the win, okay, or outweighed the accomplishment. So you run the risk of the celebration kind of muddying or dirtying up the energy associated with what it was that you accomplished. Vanity that kind of energy could be inserted, showboating, greed, all of this kind of stuff can kind of eke into your celebration and negate the positive part of celebrating your accomplishment. So that's kind of one of those things. The celebration itself needs to equal the accomplishment or at least be comparable. And under celebrating doesn't have such possible negative outcomes as over celebrating, but you still want to it's more likely for us, especially women. I don't know what it is. We talked about this in the words one. Why we women are so mean to ourselves, and I don't mean other women, I mean to ourselves. We tend to not celebrate it at all. We're just like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I don't know, I birthed a child, it's fine. So under celebrating doesn't have quite the negative, but you should definitely, if you're one of those that is kind of like, yeah, I did that, whatever, thanks, you need to give yourself more props. You know what I mean? Like, you need to celebrate yourself a little bit more and your accomplishments as a woman, your strength, all of that, because then that's going to raise your vibe. And it's going to help you with those self confidence issues that a lot of women have. So, yeah. So, if you're an under celebrator, it's time, starting now, to really consciously celebrate yourself. Consciously do it and do it at a level that equals the accomplishment or the win that you've had. And if you have to do it by yourself, if your whole family doesn't want to get involved, then do it yourself. I mean, there's no bigger cheerleader than you. You should be your biggest cheerleader. To be honest, you should pat yourself on the back all the time. So just if you're kind of down here with the celebrating, bring yourself up so that it matches the accomplishment. But if you're way up here with the celebration, bring it down a little bit. It was really hard to put this section into words because it's like a feeling for me. It's kind of like, I don't know, like if you're sitting there and you're throwing this big lavish party for this little tiny win that you have, it's kind of like showboating for the universe, and the universe will be like, "Really? Really, dude, you won like this much." But you're going to celebrate for a week. That's whatever. Next time we're going to help you out a little bit less cuz this is a little extravagant, you know? So that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of how I feel. Like it goes. I don't know if it does, but that's just just my opinion. More apt to celebrate others' accomplishments than my own, Dora says. That's what we women do. Like, we're really good about celebrating other people too. But when it comes to our own accomplishments, we're like, yeah, I mean, I did that. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, just catching up on y'all's comments too. Okay. So that's kind of the first thing. Celebrate how you want, do what you want, but make sure that your celebration matches the accomplishment. The second thing, how are you going to celebrate? You can use the promise of celebration as motivation to accomplish goals. So, yeah, that's basically like bribing yourself to get your shit done. I mean, it's like telling the kid like, "Okay, if you eat your green beans, you can have your dessert." But essentially on a magical level, it works too. And magic is energy. And so we're talking about on like an energetic level. The thing is though, a lot of us we make those promises for ourselves. We're like, all right, if I do this, if I get through this, I'm gonna go buy myself some shoes. And then you get through it and you don't go buy yourself shoes, you know? So all that kind of does is it the next time you tell yourself that, you're like, I didn't even buy my shoes myself. I didn't even buy those shoes for myself last time. So why would I even bother to make this deal with myself again? And that's kind of how it goes. So yeah, so if you can use the celebration or, that okay, I get to that a little bit later. I don't know why I didn't put the example up with this one. 'Cause I was like, I could have sworn I wrote that down. The biggest thing here is stick to it. So if you promise yourself a celebration for accomplishing the goals, then do it. Don't short yourself. Don't be all like, "Oh, I'll just do it later." Do it. Keep that promise to yourself or to another person if that's which again goes back to the thing if you make a promise to like your kid or your significant other or whatever, you're more likely to keep that promise. But if you make a promise to yourself, we're going to break them. That's just, I don't know. It's just the way we are, I guess. Doesn't make any sense. Thank you, Randy. Randy says if I get through this, Maureen got us goodies. Yes, that was awesome. Thank you. Okay. So the third thing of how are you going to celebrate? If your accomplishment is big, go big. Okay? Like that is another thing that sometimes people accomplish these huge things. You decided at the age of 50 you were going to get your college degree. You go through 4 years of college and at the other end of it you're like, "Yay, here's my" and that's it? If your accomplishment is big, go big. Okay? This is why housewarming parties, for example, are so magical. Housewarming parties, I don't care who is having the housewarming party. I don't care if they are devout Catholic. I don't care if they're Satan worshipers. I don't care who's having a housewarming party. That is magic and witchcraft at its finest, right there. You bought a house, okay? This is your very own thing. You own it. You're not renting anymore. You're paying a mortgage. You're an adult. You just bought your dream home and you fill it. You invite your friends over. You fill it with laughter, good energy, you get fun things for it, but you are not only celebrating that adulting that you just accomplished, but you are bringing your friends in for all of you to feel good, to raise all of your vibes, and to fill that home with energy and positiveness and blessings. Housewarming parties are witchcraft at its finest, and no one can tell me differently. No one. So that is what I'm talking about. You buy a house, have a housewarming party. Seriously, even if it's a virtual one, if all the people that you know are on the internet, and I know with the pandemic and everything, it might be hard, but if you're buying a house now, plan your housewarming party for when you can have it correctly. Like, put the time, the energy into planning that, or have it virtually and have as many people on the screens just laughing and giggling. And maybe y'all are playing Cards Against Humanity together, like on the screens, whatever. Just fill your home with that positive energy, the laughter, the blessings, all of it. And so that is a perfect example. If your accomplishment is big, go big, right? Honor yourself, honor that accomplishment. So, yeah, I would have never thought of that. When I was writing, this wrote itself this morning, by the way. Like, I was just kind of like pen to paper and it all came out. Um, that was it. I was thinking, basically, I was thinking about our housewarming party because we did it 80s style. So everybody had to dress up in 80s clothing. And I had 80s food out on the table. Like, we even found Tab, like the soda. It was amazing. It was probably one of the most fun evenings we've ever had, and that was shortly after we moved into the house, and our house has just had amazing positive energy since then. So, yeah. So, on the flip side of that, if your accomplishment is small, don't push the celebration off. Don't do it. Honor it and celebrate it, okay? So, for example, we set shop goals here to push ourselves. Sometimes they're sales goals. And I will say, just for the funny thing, on December 1st of last year, we were working, we were packing boxes. I remember it. We were packing the subscription boxes to go out, and we had a sales goal for that we wanted to hit for the year. And we woke up that morning and we were like this close to it. And so we're packing boxes and my phone goes off every time we get an order, and so we're hearing cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And I'm like, my husband goes, go check the sales. So sure enough, I checked the sales and we had made it. We had made our sales goal for the year. And that was it. High fives all around. Like, we took a moment to stop. We gave each other high fives. We probably should have celebrated a little more. This is one of those things where if it was a small win, but we were really busy, and this was how we chose to celebrate and acknowledge it. So we at least did pause, high fives, which are very, we do them in our house all the time. And like, that was our celebration. So we didn't just glaze over and like, oh yeah, whatever, we made our sales goal. We stopped, high five, we celebrated. So we do that here. Like, a lot of times we will predetermine the celebration. So for us, it'll be, um, okay, if we can like seriously get these orders out, like this complete abundance of orders out, then, we're going to order takeout and do family movie night. Or if at the end of this week, we have gotten through our entire to do list, family movie night and takeout, and we stick to it. Sometimes it's taking the next day off, which, especially during the pandemic, does not happen a lot. Considering it's my husband and I, my two teenagers, kind of like running everything here, like everything here physically. But if we do accomplish, we do stick to it, because even if they're small wins. And that's why this whole thing today wasn't about huge celebrations like getting your diploma or buying a house or having a baby. They can be small things too, but you have to honor and celebrate them. You do. In fact, let me pause. Did you get all the orders out?
It's the last one we walked in.
And did I see you give yourself a high five? You did. I made a mental note of it, but I didn't want to like stop. We had like this many orders left that we wanted to get out, and I had to start the Facebook Live. So we printed out the labels and I left my husband over there to do them. And as the mailman was coming to pick them up, he was putting the last labels. So I happened to look up as he was going like this. And I was like, he's celebrating. Look at him. So it wasn't even just a thing of, I did that. And he came back. He celebrated. So can your celebration be as simple as a glass of wine and a relaxing bath after a hard week of work? It absolutely can. That is what I mean about small wins also. And I underlined but 3 times in my notes. I wanted to make sure that I said that. But make sure to think about your week and all of the things that you have accomplished that week to celebrate those wins. This frees up that energetic pathway of winning to attract more of that energy. If you are just having a glass of wine in a relaxing bath without reflecting on why you are doing it, you take the magic out of it. And that's what we're talking about. Magic is that ability to direct energy for a particular outcome. That is what magic is. So if you make that deal with yourself, like this week was super hard, if I get through it doing all the things on my to do list, I'm going to have a glass of wine and a bath, a relaxing bath. If you don't sit there and celebrate what you did and what you accomplished that week, then you're just having a glass of wine and a bath. You're not magically having a glass of wine in a bath. Does that make sense? And that's essentially what I am all about. And what Ink Goddess Creations is all about is living a magical life. Okay. I've never really been a big, showy, huge witch. And I've not been a full moon and Sabbath witch, which are the people that they don't do anything ever except on the full moons or the Sabbaths. Like to be a witch for me is infusing magic into my busy life and into my everyday life so that I'm just living magically. That's kind of what I preach, finding your magic inside of you and bringing it out so that everything you do is magical. And so you're infusing everything with magic. So that's what all of this, that's what celebrating is about, is as you celebrate, think about what you accomplished. Think about the wins that you had and why you're celebrating. And that's magically going to open up those energetic pathways so that this is what you get more of. You get more celebration, you get more things to celebrate about, more accomplishments. So I'm going to catch up before I kind of sum up. I'm going to catch up on your comments real quick. Yesterday's Sacred Space was great, Tiffany. Yes. Seeing everyone join too. Oh, y'all make me smile. Okay. Yay. I'm catching up on the thread over here. Another thing that I summed it up and then I was like, no, this other idea popped in. You never know when your celebration is going to inspire others to celebrate as well. Okay. So I think I posted them on the page and I definitely posted them on Instagram because of the current state of the world. And my daughter was a senior, her and her boyfriend, he was also a senior. They could not have prom this year and they went to separate schools, but prom everywhere was canceled. So she came to me and she said, I want a quam. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, honey. And she's like, it's a quarantine prom. And I'm like, okay, we're definitely doing that. So last weekend, we decorated our backyard. I got a little cake that said quam 2020, just some finger foods, some music. And we threw my daughter and her boyfriend a quam in the backyard. And so I posted about it on Instagram, here on Facebook, on the Facebook page. And it was one of our most, like, for social media, it was one of our most popular posts that I've ever done. So what that told me was that people were telling other people, they were sharing it, they were saving it, that it was sent to a lot of people on Instagram, things like that. But my daughter's, she shared it on her Instagram as well. And she started having friends message her and say, how do I do that? I want a quam now. I'm doing one next weekend. What did you get? What did you do? And so you never know when you're celebrating is going to inspire other people. And it could just be a picture, it could just be telling someone, so I did this thing and I decided to go take myself out for a pedicure. And like it was the best relaxation of my life. And someone else could be like, that sounds great. I think I'm gonna take myself out like the next time I do this. Like you don't know what it can inspire. But inspiring anyone is gonna spread that positive energy in the world. And that is amazing. Like, we definitely need so much more positive energy. So, if us like, I wanted to share, on our social media because we are a family business, and that's a big, huge part of who we are, is a family business. So, I share my family moments with you all so that you know who we are and where your magical goodies are coming from and everything. And so sharing this qualm was something I wanted to do, and I never had like when I woke up the next morning and I saw how much interaction we had on the post and how many times it had been shared, it blew my mind because I guess I first thought that everyone was doing a qualm because I was like quarantine prom. It's cute. And then when I realized that it wasn't a thing, it wasn't a hashtag or anything, I was like, huh, that's kind of fun. And I kind of wish we would have done it earlier now so that we could have gotten to people before, they graduated and everything. And maybe, but even if we inspired just a few people to have their own qualm, then they're making memories and they're spreading that positive energy too. But the it was crazy the next morning when I woke up and I saw all of the feedback on that post. It was just awesome. All of that positive energy that went out. And I'm seeing all of you, your comments over here of y'all having seen our qualm pictures. Yep. And it was also like my husband was already in the military for my senior prom. And so he took me to my junior prom, but he did not, he was already in the military for my senior prom. So it was a way for us to have our senior prom as well. And I think we danced more than the teenagers did. Yep. So celebrate and share. You are your biggest cheerleader and you have the ability to change and affect change for the positive. That's why you wanna celebrate. So, yeah, that was my summary. That was it. So, celebrate the big wins, celebrate the small wins. You can predetermine your celebrations. You can say, "Okay, if I accomplish this, this is what I'm gonna do," but you need to follow through with it. That's the biggest thing. If you get that promotion at work and you promised yourself you were gonna go out to that fancy restaurant, go out to the fancy restaurant. That's what I'm saying. And you want to celebrate to add that magical positive energy, to create those open pathways of positive energy, to manifest more things to celebrate and more celebrate you and your accomplishments, to raise your vibration level, practice gratitude magic, all of that. So there really truly is magic in celebration. And I do want to like, this was all kind of spawned and, like, today I was like, "That's it, I'm talking about celebration because of current events happening in my life." But as I was writing everything and I was kinda getting everything down, I do need to give some mad love, absolutely mad love, to a woman on Facebook. Her name is Lisa Marie Grantham. If you look her up, so she is who is Lisa? Lisa's a goddess. I've been working with her for almost a year now, but I have been following her for years, years. She is the originator, the creator of the Goddess Lifestyle Plan. She is a flipping amazing woman. And whenever we have our video chats, she always starts out with celebrations. So we go through things that have happened since the last time we saw each other and we talk about celebrating and we celebrate them. And then we move on to, other things. So I definitely having been working with her for a year, almost a year now, it's ingrained in me to celebrate. I probably celebrate more since I've been working with her. So I definitely want to give her a huge shout out. And much love, much love. She does a little bit of everything. So if you look her up, she has a sisterhood, she has a business thing that she helps with. She has the Goddess Lifestyle Plan. She has a farm, like I think it's pineapple farm. It's just awesome. She is great. I definitely recommend to look her up. And like I said, since I've known her for about the last year, she's all about celebration. And so I think that was one of the reasons I was like, I have to share this with people. Like, I have to share why I celebrate so much, the magic behind it and everything. All right. I'm catching up on your comments and then we are done here today. Dora, that is the biggest reason why I chose your company. It felt like a family. It feels like you care so much about the experiences we have with your company. You. Y'all are. I always say that. Ink Rose Creations family. That's what I'm always saying. Yeah. Don't. Stephanie says I don't give myself enough kudos to celebrate. Thank you for this. You're welcome. Thank you. I don't. I think it's a woman thing. It's another woman thing. We don't celebrate enough of our wins. We celebrate other people's wins. We don't celebrate our own wins enough. Would you ever think about a and search kind of question sheet a week? I have not thought about that. No. Have to think about that. Thank you, Randy. Yes, Kim, raise your vibration, spread the energy and the love. Definitely. That is yes, that is it. So, thank you all for joining me this week. I hope that I have inspired you to celebrate a little bit more. Celebrate your little wins and your little accomplishments. Celebrate your big wins and your big accomplishments. And as you're celebrating, definitely think about why you're celebrating. Be grateful, be thankful, and that will open up that magical, that energetic pathway so that you're going through more things to celebrate more things that you've accomplished. And that's what it opens up, definitely. So yeah, and I will definitely happy weekend. Yes, Kimberly, it is Friday. I love doing these on Friday. I feel like, at least for me, it puts me in a right energy setting to just enjoy my weekend. I hope it does the same for you all too. And yes, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. And I always end with this, if you are not a part of our customer group, you have to be a customer. It is attached here on the Facebook page as a group. It's called like VIP customers. You do have to be a customer. It is completely free to join. We have a sacred space every Thursday. And we're like a family over there. There's 3 questions you have to answer to verify that you're one of our customers, and then you're in. It's completely free to join the group, and we have such a great time over there. So I definitely recommend, if you are one of our customers and you are not in the group, you should be, because it's great over there. But if that is all, yes, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Until next week, see y'all then.